This podcast is brought to you by WTOE Radio at throughoureyes.org.
Hi, this is Cheryl Echevarria of Echevarria Travel, your one-on-one travel agent making your travel dreams come true, home of the independent traveler. Whether you're sighted, blind, or disabled, whether you use a cane, guide dog, or sighted guide, Echevarria Travel will get you there safely. Come and learn more about traveling independently.
Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go.
Hi, everybody. This is Cheryl Echevarria of Echevarria Travel, and welcome to October 2013. Wow, where is the year going? I just want to say welcome, and remember, this is a live call-in talk show, the Echevarria Travel Show, and I'm Cheryl Echevarria. You might be looking for my co-host, Margot Downey. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight, but she will be back here for the November 4th show, where we'll be honoring our veterans and also talking with the president of the National Association of Guide Dog Users and the president of the National Association of Blind Veterans. Tonight we're going to be talking all about Barbados. My guest tonight is Kerryann Ifill, who is the president of the Barbados Council for Disabilities. And down in Barbados, they have the tourism board is actually called Fabulous Accessible Barbados. And we'll be talking to her hopefully after the 2-minute break because we are having some technical difficulties with her. So hopefully she'll be on the call afterwards. I do want to make a couple of announcements here. As you know, the Echevarria Travel, as well as our 8 other shows that are on every Wednesday night of the month, is run by donations that go to the Northeast chapter of the NFB of New Jersey. And to make a tax-deductible donation to the NFB, you could send a check made out to the Northeast chapter of the NFB of New Jersey, 254 Spruce Street, Bloomfield, New Jersey, 07003, and put in the memo for throughoureyes.org on there or WTOE network. I have an announcement I'd like to make, and unfortunately it's a very sad one, so I do have to read it here. A very important person to the blind organization passed away today. Dr. Abraham Nemeth passed away today. He was, I'm just looking here, 94 years old, and he was the inventor of Braille, so that not Louis Braille, but he improved Braille so blind people can do math and science and all these computer stuff in code. So the NFB, and I'd like to tip my hat to the gentleman that created this for us to have math and science for blind people. A lot of people don't know that blind people can do math and science, and we have a lot of great scientists out there, and it really has been improvement for the blind during these last 50 years or so. Like I said, we're going to be talking all about Barbados, so when we come back, and remember, our call-in number is 1-888-572-0141. Please call in and talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. And I'm Cheryl Echevarria of Echevarria Travel. And we'll be right back after this 2-minute break. Stay tuned.
Don't go anywhere. There'll be more show right after these messages.
Come with me, let's go.
And we're back. I just want to say that Kerryann Ifill is on the line, and again, she is in Barbados, and she's the president of the Barbados Council for the Disabled. Kerry, are you there?
I'm here.
Kerry, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Kerry, thank you for coming on the call tonight. I'm so glad you're finally here.
Just here.
Yes, about 2 years ago, we actually met for a few minutes at the National Federation of the Blind in Dallas through a friend of both of ours. His name is Dr. Scott Rains out in California. He isn't blind. He's actually paraplegic that also works with Kerry a lot down in Barbados and works very hard to make tourism better for everybody. Kerry, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what is the Council for the Disabled down in Barbados?
First of all, I want to apologize for the horrible audio. You know, technology, it works until you need it, and then when you need it, it doesn't work properly. So I apologize to all the listeners who are having trouble with me. The Barbados Council for the Disabled has been in existence since 1976. And we're an umbrella body for all organizations working on and for persons with disabilities here in Barbados. We have a variety of interest groups. We work with the blind, the deaf, the sports, Special Olympics, Paralympics, all of those agencies. And we coordinate our own projects. We have a small fleet of buses that we use for transportation. We work really heavily in sexual and reproductive health programs. And we also support our various agencies with their very many activities. So that's a bit about what we do. We have a board of directors. They're elected biennially, and they're elected from among our membership. And our board is made up of 7 persons with disabilities and 4 non-disabled persons.
Now, what is fully accessible Barbados? Is that exactly what you were mentioning, or is that a different project altogether?
Fully Accessible Barbados is what we call our flagship program, and it is one of the activities put on by the Barbados Council for the Disabled. Back in around 2005, we felt that tourism is the main foreign exchange earner for our country, and for a small island, we need with very limited resources, we need all the money we can get. But we felt that the tourists with disabilities weren't getting an equal break. So we wanted to start concentrating on making Barbados more accessible. The program didn't take off very much in 2005, and basically it was too wide, it was too far reaching. So back in 2008, we decided to revamp it and target mainly the tourism area. And in this area, what we did was we said, okay, we want to look at your properties, we want to look at your services and see how you benefit persons with disabilities. And you don't have to cater to every disability all at once. If you can make your business accessible to the blind or the deaf or the wheelchair user or the mobility challenge, then you can get a FAB accreditation. So you're accredited under 6 different categories, and we started that review back in 2008. Now that got a lot of support, and we had our first ceremony and presentation. We presented 16 different awards. And we had a cross-section of places. We had some restaurants, some hotels, a shopping center, which was highly popular with tourists and Barbadians alike. We also did a few more locally targeted eating places. And we also did, unfortunately, it's closed now, a fun park for person. It was an ocean park, actually.
Right. Actually, as being a travel professional, I'm always reading up about especially the Caribbean, with our different areas in the Caribbean, and I got my certification recently in Barbados, and it's a small island, but I was reading the history. The United States has a lot of history with Barbados, going all the way back to George Washington, who actually one of the other places where he we have a joke here in the United States. George Washington slept everywhere, but actually his brother was living down there, and he went down there to help take care of his brother while he was sick in Barbados. And you got a very rich and very historical country there. Especially myself.
That property, in fact, the house where George Washington stayed is now a local museum, and that's also one of the fully accessible Barbados properties because it's not completely accessible because it's an old, very old house, and so they couldn't make the second level accessible, but they've got accessible bathrooms and they've made the ground floor as accessible as possible. So that's another one of our properties.
The other place I was reading up about, since I'm Jewish as well, you have the second oldest synagogue in the Western Hemisphere next to Curacao. And it's very interesting history that the Brazilians that were being persecuted, since we all seem to be persecuted since the beginning of time, actually, the Sephardic Jews moved to Barbados and started some of the sugar cane plantations and stuff there. Is that synagogue, first of all, is it still having any services, and is that accessible as well?
Unfortunately, it is not accessible the last time I checked. It's still there, but it's more of a historical site now than an active synagogue, I believe. We don't have a very large Jewish population in Barbados, I'm afraid.
Oh, but it's still nice to know that, because when I was in Bermuda, we learned that they have the oldest Western Hemisphere church that still has services every single week there.
I think they're doing some restoration work on the synagogue, and it's actually the street where it's on is actually called Synagogue Lane, so it's definitely one of our landmarks here.
Right. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The question that I mostly have for tonight is in retrospect to blind people. Now, first question I really have, and some of my audience, especially since we cruise a lot, and the cruises do go to Bridgetown in Barbados, what is the accessibility, if any accessibility, for bringing service animals to Barbados states?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask that one. Unfortunately, we are a rabies-free territory. So you can't bring animals into Barbados unless they've been quarantined for 6 months.
Wow. Because I know recently Jamaica started allowing service animals into Jamaica, but only via cruise lines. So
yeah. Eventually, maybe we will start looking at doing it like that, but it's the local veterinary service, they're very, very, very reluctant. Jamaica has a greater landmass than we do as well. We've only got 166 square miles. So if rabies were to get into Barbados at all, it could decimate the entire population in a flash. So that's what they're very afraid of. Now, service animals, we know they have one of the best health records. And so we're trying to explain to them, well, you can't have a rabies-infested animal near somebody who needs a service dog anyway. So, and they've all the health certificates and everything. But the local veterinarians are not budging on it because if they see it's going to create too much havoc for them.
Is it more that you're concerned about, because having service animals, we have to have every year the dog is vaccinated and all that. Is it more concern of the dogs there in Barbados that may not be vaccinated to protect the dogs that are coming in? I mean, I'm sure you're not, I'm not trying to, make you uncomfortable here, but I'm just trying to find out their ideas of that, because service animals have to be vaccinated every year, and I'm just.
All the dogs are vaccinated as well. By about 8 weeks old, they're always vaccinated as well, and they get their shots and everything, so they're taken care of. But I guess they're afraid of the infection at all getting into Barbados. The service animals, we are trying to work. In fact, only last year, we did some surveys to see what the reaction to service animals would be in Barbados. And so we're awaiting the results on that and hoping to have that research to lend weight to our arguments. Because it's not just the service animals that have in trouble, there are other animals coming in from outside as well that have difficulties. But we're hoping to get the thin edge of the wedge in and get the service animals in as soon as possible. But it's an uphill fight because there is that. And then the other challenge will be, once you do get them in, actually allowing them into various facilities and so on, because there are all the health codes and health restrictions and so on. So it's not going to be an easy fight.
Understand. Now, going back to the program itself, now, what services do they have there for people that are blind that want to travel to Barbados? What things are in place already that you can maybe shed a light on?
Okay, well, we do have in place, we have the Council for the Disabled, as I said, we have our buses for wheelchair users. So we have transportation, but we're not the only ones that offer that. There are other services offering transportation for persons with disabilities. The local hotel, the airport, actually, Grantley Adams International Airport, that's another one of our fully accessible Barbados properties. So starting from there, they have the lowered countertops and everything so that you feel welcomed and at home at the airport. Then there's the transportation to get from there to your various destinations. The hotels, there are some of them that are accessible and others are daily asking us to recommend and review their properties. There are restaurants that are accessible. The main tourist attraction in Barbados is called Harrison's Cave. It's a mile-long track of underground caves, and it has interesting rock formations and stalactites and stalagmites and a whole host of other things. And that, they have the wheelchair tram so that the wheelchair users can go down. It's described along the way, and they have been known to allow, you're not supposed to touch the fossils and so on, but they do allow some of the blind visitors to touch those as well. Some of the restaurants are starting to get Braille menus in. We have, I think that pretty much covers what we have. But one thing that Barbadians are known for are we have a very accommodating attitude and a very warm personality. So when we have visitors, we do go the extra to help them to feel comfortable. So we're not perfect, but we're getting there.
Now, when let's say if I'm going on a tour of Barbados, are they getting trained how to, and I understand wheelchair accessibility, but a lot of blind people will say there's nothing wrong with my legs or anything like that, which is fine. My concern is with your tour operators. Are they trained in giving very descriptive verbiage when they're taking people that are blind on a tour somewhere to make sure that they're describing it? Not just saying it's blue, but this is shaped almost like a square, and it's pointy and it's round, and it's a metal. It feels very, you know what I'm saying? Are they learning how to describe things?
They're definitely improving. We're trying to encourage our local visually impaired persons as well to go out and use some of the facilities so that they don't get rusty on the skill set they have. In fact, tomorrow, we have sensitivity training for the members of the tourism sector, tourism practitioners. So you have frontline staff, tour operators, and all of those. We're doing sensitivity training over the next 2 days. And those are some of the things that we're going to cover. So we do it every year. And each year we're getting more and more persons to train in the way that they need to accommodate various types of disabilities. Because we're also working on getting things more ASL for the sign language and stuff like that as well.
Cool. A couple of questions I got in reference to the program itself. Are you working with other islands in the Caribbean? I mean, is this going to be expanding to include other areas of tourism in the Caribbean, maybe bring in people in government from the United States or from Jamaica or other areas to come in and maybe learn from each other, have like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like some kind of convention or some meeting of the minds to come together and speak on these topics.
Actually, we made a presentation. There is a tourism, the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and they have a program every year, and we have made presentations there on more than one occasion. And just this week, just last week actually, we have been approved to sit on the Caribbean national standards, so that we would be looking for the tourism side of things, making standards across the Caribbean for tourists with disabilities. So we shared our model with Antigua and Trinidad, and slowly we're hoping that it's creeping across the Caribbean as people realize how important it is.
Correct. Lenny, how much time do you have? Okay. Just double checking on our time. Well, now, when I'd like to talk a little more, especially about Barbados. I've learned that you've been in existence since about the 1600s and been independent since that time, correct?
No, we've been independent since 1966, but we were a British colony from 1627 until now.
Wonderful. And you're in the House of Commons with British monarchy?
We have a British head of, well, no, let me get this straight. We have a head of state, which is a governor general, but the Queen is the titular head of state of Barbados, as she is in most of the other Commonwealth countries. So we do have a governor general. We have our houses of parliament, and we're based on the Westminster system, which is the British system of politics. And what else do we do? So that is how we're run. But we became independent since 1966. So we're not governed, we're internally governed now.
I got you. I had it reversed. Okay. Now, like I said, doing my homework on Barbados, since my husband and I would really love to go there. We've been to some other Caribbean islands, and we hope to get down to Barbados soon. Now, I mean, you guys are small, but you're packed with so much things to do. Like you have, people always come to me, and they always want to go to an all-inclusive resort, and I'm like, well, those are mostly countries where you really don't want to leave the resorts. You don't want to get out and expand for either governmental issues or military rule or something like that. But Barbados is one of the safest countries in the Caribbean, one of the most friendliest countries in the Caribbean. And I mean, over the last 20 years, a lot of the U.S. tourism has been heading to Barbados, and they're starting to come back again. So.
Because Barbadians are, I'm proud of my country. And one of the things I'm proud about is that it's not, when you go into an all-inclusive, you can miss so much about us. Because just going out and mixing with people and being among what is regular Barbadian life, there are things that you cannot experience when you stay in a hotel. I mean, I've stayed at all-inclusive hotels in other places, and I really don't see what the big attraction is, because you don't get to know what the culture of the place is. But when you go out, you get to see how people live, you get to talk, you get to experience Barbadian food, which is delish. I am biased, but it is wonderful. It's just a beautiful thing to do. And there's, like I said, there's a Harrison's Cave, there's aerial trek, there are loads of other things that we can do here, and it's very exciting and interesting.
Well, we're coming to the end of the half hour, and when we come back, we'll be discussing more of Barbados, more of the beautiful island where Kerry is from, and hopefully we'll encourage you to call in or even take a trip there. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in 4 minutes.
Hi, I'm Keith Zhao, your announcer here at WTOE Radio Network. We're going to take a little bit long with this break to save our files for podcasts. So don't go anywhere, because there'll be more of the Echevarria Travel Show in just a bit.
Come with me, let's go.
And we're back. Welcome again. We're back from our 4-minute break, and we're talking tonight to Kerryann Ifill from the Barbados Council of Disabilities, and she's the current president of that organization. Kerry, wait a minute. Before I even start, please remember we are a live call-in talk show, so if you're out there listening, pick up the phone and give us a call. And our phone number is 1-888-572-0141. We would love to hear from you tonight. And you can ask both of us about Barbados or any other travel-related question you have. So I hope you take advantage of it. Kerry, what I normally do, which I didn't do tonight, is I always like to find out about our guests. Can you tell us a little about yourself and how you got involved with the organization that you're with now?
Well, I am, a little bit about me. Let's see. Well, I used to work at the Barbados Council for the Disabled from 2002, and I worked as the research project officer. And that meant that I had to deal with all of the incoming research about our various projects and programs, and I used to try to put everything together, and I dealt with a lot of communications and so on. I left that agency, and I started to work with the National Disabilities Unit, and I teach computers to other blind and visually impaired persons and do Braille transcribing and so on. And a couple of years ago, the elections for the board of directors came up, and I ran for president, and I won the post, and that's how I got involved with the Barbados Council for the Disabled. I'm also public relations officer of the National United Society of the Blind, and I am also the newly elected president of the Caribbean Council for the Blind. So I've got quite a few activities going on out there in blindness and visual impairment and other aspects of disability. And in my other incarnation, I also serve as a senator, and I'm currently the president of the Senate of Barbados.
Wow, a lot of hats you wear, and I thought I wore a lot of hats with the NFB. Being blind yourself, first, and this is just me. I am partially blind. I hear you, Joyce. So are you totally blind, or you have some sight, or no?
I tell people I'm blind as a bat because I try to say to others, I have no light perception. I'm not visually impaired. I am a total. There's nothing going on here. All lights out.
Well, here, as you know, with the NFB, whether you have a little sight, a lot of sight, or nothing at all, we're all blind. And I take it that the council down there is similar to the NFB here in the United States. Are you also part of the World Blind Union there?
The Caribbean Council for the Blind is part of the World Blind Union. And in fact, I'll be in Baltimore shortly at NFB headquarters attending WB training for the Convention of Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And I'll then be going on to Louisville for the WBU officers meeting. So yes, we're definitely a part of WBU.
Wonderful, wonderful. So so this weekend in Albany, we're having our state convention of the NFB in New York, and Mark Riccobono from the Jernigan Institute is actually going to be our national rep. So, I'm glad you'll be going to our headquarters and seeing Dr. Maurer and all the other our other family, because the NFB is family in national. I want to get to more Barbados. It's so fascinating to me. My husband's from Puerto Rico, and it's a big island, and it's you have a lot of things going on. But first of all, Barbadians, and I'm hoping I'm saying it all right, is also known as Bajans. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
No. You say Bajans.
Bajans.
Okay.
Bajans. Okay, and it's from West Africa and the UK. So it's and I also found out the accent from people that live up in Charleston actually get it from Barbados, because there's so many different cultures there that when they were working during the time of of course, slavery and the plantations and everything, and moving up to the Charleston area, a lot of people came from Barbados, which I thought was very, very interesting. And
we have a very big affiliation going on with Charleston even till today. A lot of our hotel workers are trained there. A lot of our people are trained in Charleston, and a lot of roots are traced back there. So yeah, it's definitely a big thing for us.
Cool. And from the 70 miles of beach there, which I love the beach. It's very calm waters there. That they're saying that that the currents are so calm that people can let their kids run out in the water and not even worry so much about it because there's not heavy undertow, and it just seems like perfect because you always dream of seeing the commercials on TV and of the the blue ocean, and it's just so calm that I mean I'm just getting this picture in my head. Is it as I'm thinking? I mean, is it that calm, the waters there and all that?
It's even more beautiful than that, but I'm biased.
Exactly. Now, it's also Barbados is also the. Now, let me just see here. Has the most international foods because you have everything there from Chinese to Italian. I mean, there's so much. It's like a culinary person's dream to go to Barbados because you have everything there and you have top-notch restaurants. I mean, you can enjoy. There's a budget for everybody there to go, whether you're, on a shoestring budget or you want the ultimate luxury hotels. It's welcoming to any lifestyle there. So
it's something for everyone. We've got a Japanese Thai restaurant, Zen. We've got to come to Barbados is definitely a culinary delight. You can get a bit of Trinidadian food, a bit of Amerindian. You can get traditional Barbadian. We are the sweet lovers of the Caribbean, so we have a lot of sweet foods and a lot of sweet things. We make breadfruit is a very popular dish here. Breadfruit was one of the things that they found lots of when they came to Barbados was lots of these trees with this large fruit on it. And so they called it the breadfruit because you can do everything with it. You can make the flesh into flour. You can fry it up, make chips out of it, French fries as you call them. We can make, there's so many different things you can do with it. People even make drinks out of it. People have made lasagna with it. It is just very versatile, very wonderful. It's definitely a great dish. So, yeah, coming to Barbados, the beaches are perfect. Everything is lovely. On the south coast of the island, the beaches are better for the kids to run around in. On the north and east coast of the island, they're a lot choppier because that's where it meets the Atlantic Ocean. But that's where the surfers get all their happiness going on. So there's a bit for everybody.
Now, for somebody that may have limited time to go to Barbados, let's say they're going to be there for one day on a cruise. What is the thing or a couple of things that they should not miss while they're in Barbados?
You definitely should not miss Harrison's Cave. That is a wonderful tour. Scott Rains will tell you. He took it. You should not miss a visit to Pelican Village where you get to see all the arts and crafts, the local stuff. If you are, if it's a day when there's horse racing on, that's definitely another visit to pay because our historic garrison is wonderful. If you happen to be the kind of person that enjoys cricket, Kensington Oval is called the Mecca of Caribbean cricket. There's the beach. If you've got time, definitely going to the beach. The nightlife is something not to be missed. And recently we passed a law so that the ships stay in port a little longer, so you don't have to leave Barbados as early as you used to, so you can get a sample of that. And just drive around the East Coast and the West Coast and see the fauna and flora of Barbados. If you have the time, you can go for a horseback trail ride. And those two I've done them, and they are accessible to blind and visually impaired and other persons as well. They're wonderful. And if you enjoy that kind of thing, you get trail rides up in the countries where you get to interact more one-on-one with nature. So there are loads to do it. You can do the submarine, go on the water. You can, there's quite a bit.
And for those that are listening that want to go to Barbados, a number of the airlines, your international airlines, a lot of them are starting now to go nonstop. A lot of them you have one stop in Miami. But nowadays when you're traveling, you usually got one stop anyway. A lot of airlines do not go nonstop to any place anymore. I'm going to Las Vegas next week, and you can't go nonstop to Vegas anymore. So, but traveling nowadays, your biggest expense is always going to be your airlines. But once you're there, you're really going to have a nice time. And almost all the cruise lines go to Barbados. So if you have a chance, pick a Caribbean cruise that includes Bridgetown, Barbados, and that's how it's on your itinerary. And give me a call and we'll set it up for you. Kerry, I want to thank you so much for being on tonight, and please keep in touch with me. Hopefully, give me a call when you get back from Louisville, because you're going to NFB in Baltimore first, and then you're going to Louisville, Kentucky. And I just want to pick your brain more about Fabulous Accessible Barbados and maybe Echevarria Travel, or since I'm president of the travel and tourism of the NFB, maybe, we could put our heads together and help out any way we can with getting more accessibility out there.
No problem at all. In fact, I'll be in your neck of the woods next week. I'll be in New York for a couple of days, actually. Unfortunately, be off.
When are you going to be in New York?
Tuesday to Friday.
I'm leaving Wednesday, so too bad you won't be in New York longer. But hopefully, maybe you and I and Scott Rains, and I hope you're listening, Scott, maybe we could get together one day and just go out to dinner or something like that. And again, thank you for being on the show, and we'll have you back soon. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to give people some heads up of what's going on with the NFB Travel and Tourism and also the National Federation of the Blind. As you know, we're leaving next week to go to Las Vegas, and we were going to the national park, so I'm hoping that by the time we get out there that the national parks will be opened. If not, we are still going. Everybody's still excited. Our tour operators, Scenic Tours out in Utah, has many side trips for us to see and do some state parks. We may be even going 4x4ing over some sand dunes. So we're still going to the Perry Hotel. We're very excited about that, and doing the role play video of how the West was lost. Now, this past Monday, the division has started their plans for our 2014 trip. Hold on to your seat, people. We're doing Country Music USA next year. So if you love country music, you love Nashville, guess what? We're going to Nashville, Tennessee next October. We're going to have all the information posted out there on the nfbtravel.org website, or if you get your Braille monitor, or even if you're not blind and you're listening to our show. This is our fundraiser that we do every year. And a fundraiser is raising money for our division. So, plus we want to educate you that people that are not blind, that we're very independent, like you listened to Kerry before. I mean, blind people can do so much, and we're in government. We're housewives, we're mothers, we're in government. We do so many things that we want to educate everybody else out there. And the way we do it is by traveling across the country and learning different things and enjoying places to go and things to do, because some people still call me and say, well, I'm blind. What can I do? I can't see anything. And I try to invoke on people that, look, when we were kids in school, we went through all these fun things. Oh, you need to taste this and you need to hear this, and you laugh and you cry and you smell different things. That's what we have to try to put into our lives. Even people that are sighted don't appreciate things around them. They don't listen to the birds. They don't smell the food. They don't taste different things out there. My husband tells me I'm weird when I try new foods and stuff. Oh my God, you're trying that? I'm like, life is a bowl of cherries, and really got to try things and enjoy life. And everything, unfortunately, is visual. So, we got to try to do different things to enjoy ourselves. And, it's scary at first, and I'm always going to preach this. I mean, I wasn't always blind. It's scary, but, with people around you or even traveling independently, it could be fun. So stay tuned for that. I'll be talking about that over the next couple of months. Some interesting things that have been going on that we have been talking about. As you know, Margot and I have been talking about issues that happened at the National Convention with Southwest Airlines, and also some people with canes with United. We're trying to work with all divisions to come together and maybe have some kind of leadership seminar going on in a couple of months. I'll be speaking with some people down in National this weekend about it. And next month, as I said, I'm going to have Marian Guizdala on. He's the president of the National Association of Guide Dog Users, and he'll be on half the show. And the other half, we'll be talking to Dwight Sayer, who's the president of the National Association of Blind Veterans, about, traveling as well. We're fighting in Congress to make sure our veterans have, and I'll have them go more into the bill that we're talking about, but I believe it's the Freedom Act, where veterans get a free space on airlifts to different places around the world, especially for medical. So I maybe get my hand slapped on this one, but we'll have Dwight here talking about that and recognizing our veterans, because in November it is, Veterans Day. October is Meet the Blind Month, so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of walks going on. When I get back from Vegas, I'll be doing a fundraiser walk with my Guide Dog School, which is the Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind in Smithtown. They're having their wagon walk. That's wag, as in dog wagging their tails and walking. And it's a fundraiser for our school. If you're interested in donating to that, you could reach me at reservations@echevarriatravel.com. You could also join the walk with me. And that's going to be on October 27th at the Rinks in Smithtown, Long Island, in Hauppauge. So either you can donate or you can walk along with us to show support, as well as it's other organizations out there. I'm diabetic. It's, Diabetic Awareness Month. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October is Awareness Month. So if thank God you don't have any illnesses, blindness is not an illness. Blindness is a characteristic. And if you have something out there and you have to thank God every day that we're well, donate to an organization that could use it or participate in it. I'm getting off the travel topic here. I'm sorry, people. But some things that are coming up, as I said, that we're heading out to Vegas and hopefully the Grand Canyon. And I'm going to Albany. And coming up, we have a number of cruises going on, especially during spring break. So if you're looking for a spring break cruise, I got all of them. Come call me from either New York, Baltimore, Galveston, Texas, or out of Florida, remember one of your stops can be Barbados. So give me a call on that. What else we have going on? I guess nobody's wants to call me tonight. That's fine. You could always call me anytime and listen to Echevarria Travel. We're also have the podcast on the Echevarria Travel website. I usually have more to talk about. Oh, goodness. So thank you, Lenny. I'll be speaking at the NFB of New York convention up in Albany. I have a table up there, so if you're part of New York, come by the table. I'll also be speaking on Sunday about the Travel and Tourism Division. And oh goodness, oh that's true. Thank you, Lenny. Please remember that Silly Me is a host of Echevarria Travel, and we need funds to keep our radio station going. So please remember to donate a tax-deductible money to the Northeast chapter of the NFB of New Jersey, and send your check to 254 Spruce Street, Bloomfield, New Jersey, 07003. And while I'm on the subject, and we have some time here, please remember all our other shows. Following me is J.D. Degenshire and Jerry Marino, who have on the bright side, and they discuss all positive things from poetry. They bring on authors. So especially Jerry and Janie's hysterical laugh. You won't stop laughing the whole hour. And then, of course, we have the original Joe Ruffalo on Through Our Eyes with Joe Ruffalo, who's the third Wednesday of the month, and he talks all issues going on with the NFB. And then our very last show of the month is Looking Good Without Looking. And a number of times, I mean, I got a couple of favorites out there, and I can't be biased or anything like that because we're all a family here on the WTOE network. But Linda Thomas and Janie Bacon have Looking Good Without Looking. And whether you're sighted or not, whether you're a man, woman, teenager, they go into all fashion, all cosmetics, the best that money, whatever you can do to improve yourself. Remember, us blind people always want to look our best. We don't want to go out there and, we're trying to represent a whole community out there. So we always want to look our best, feel our best. And remember, traveling is my passion. I mean, you got to go, even if it's just on a local bus trip, whether I go out every day and I go take the bus and I go to the mall, or you take the train somewhere, or you're just walking somewhere, you're traveling. And that's very important that you get out and explore your world. Max and I go out sometimes and, we just feel what's around us. And, we listen, and sometimes I hear different birds singing, and we smell the different foods from the different Spanish restaurants around us. And, we feel the grass, and, there's just so many things out there that God has put on this earth for us, whether we're blind or sighted or in a wheelchair or not. We have to enjoy what's out there. No, I don't. But Lenny, do you want to? Okay, but the NFB of New Jersey is also coming up. I believe it's the first weekend of November, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure Joe will mention it on Wednesday night, or even Janie as well. They'll mention the state convention. Joe Ruffalo, since he's the president of New Jersey, will highlight the whole convention that's coming up. So please make, especially in New York, we're going to be streaming live. So if you have a chance, go to nfbny.org and learn all about what the NFB is. If you're listening to me tonight, and I'm usually much better than this, and you can listen all about what the NFB does. I mean, we are an organization that advocates for the blind in education, in independence, in the work environment, in government, to make sure that we're all treated as equals and not treated as somebody with a handicap. It's a characteristic. It's not, just because we're blind doesn't mean we can't feel or anything like that. We're people, we just can't see. And it's important to know that, like I said, you can travel anywhere and be respected for doing it. Anyway, I'm going to say good night. Remember, next month, before Veterans Day and Guide Dog Day. So take care and have a good night. Good night, Lenny. Good night, Lori. Thank you for taking care of our show every month, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
The Echevarria Travel Show is brought to you by Echevarria Travel, home of the independent traveler since 2009, specializing in worldwide destinations for the blind community. For more information on Echevarria Travel, call Cheryl at 631-456-5394 or email her at reservations@echevarriatravel.com. All words, ideas, and contents expressed on this show are those of Cheryl Echevarria and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the Northeast New Jersey chapter, or the WTOE Internet Radio Network. Until next time, I'm Keith Zally.
Let's go. Cruise like a Norwegian.
The previous WTOE Radio podcast is a commercial-free version of our live broadcast brought to you every Wednesday evening starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at throughTHRUOureyes.org.